It's just gone stupid o'clock when security guard Simon Lockhart hears a proper strange noise coming from the hotel attic. Now, absolutely no one is meant to be up there, so Simon grabs his camera to check it out. But what he catches on video, bloody hell, watch closely.
I'm over at the restaurant right now that's connected to our hotel. The door's been wide open, and they said they've seen lights going on and off in here. This is the attic area. Very, very narrow stairs, and I just smashed my head on this freaking pipe. Hello? Oh my. There's no one here. There's no one here. Nope. Nope. Okay. Okay. I'm out. Okay. Just leave me alone.
At first, it just looks like he's heading up some narrow stairs. Nothing weird at all. But then, right here, did you catch it? Listen closely.
Hello? Oh my. Oh my. Oh my.
Right in the corner, a voice whispers, "Get out." Then it gets worse. Simon backs off and feels something grabbing his uniform, loses his footing, and tumbles down the stairs.
Nope. Okay. Okay. I'm out. Okay. Just leave me alone.
The bloke actually needed hospital treatment after. Now, you could assume he just slipped because he was rattled. Fair enough. But that doesn't explain the voice, or how he yanks back.
Nope. Okay.
The thing is, this exact hotel spot was already flagged for ghosts. Doors opening, lights flickering, you name it. But it never got violent before. Was it just a clumsy fall, or did something force him out? You decide.
Hello? Oh my.
Number 6. The Peaky Blinders. On the 11th of November, TikToker Roden Farris is fast asleep when something in his living room wakes him up. Unfortunately, this wasn't a one-off though. According to him, this sort of thing had been happening around the same time every night. So instead of ignoring it, he decides to record it with hopes of catching a simple explanation. But he might have taken on more than anyone can handle for one night. Take a look.
Capto un fantasma en video.
No sé qué pasa, boludo. Estoy en mi pieza queriendo dormir, boludo, y me tocan la puerta toda la noche, amigo. Son como las 1 de la mañana. No hay nada. No, amigo, ¿qué mierda es eso, boludo? ¿Qué mierda sos, la concha de tu madre? Boludo, no. Amigo, no hay nadie, boludo. No. De hoy se está escuchando esa mierda. ¿Qué? No, boludo, no. No. Encima abro acá la ventana, boludo. No hay nadie, amigo. O sea, no hay chance que haya salido alguien por acá, boludo. No, amigo, no. No, amigo, de nuevo esto. Pero qué mierda, boludo. No va a enloquecer, boludo.
What starts off as a quick little cameo quickly turns into absolute chaos. Objects flying around, things moving, and at one point, something appears to be standing right beside him. We can't deny the fear in his voice or the tales of haunting that have plagued his apartment for years. But what do you reckon? Is Roden just pulling a fast one with some clever editing? Or did he actually catch a proper malicious spirit on camera? Drop a comment and let me know.
Mierda eso, boludo. ¿Qué mierda sos, la concha?
Number 5. Paranormal activity. The following video was captured by a man named Moses, who had taken his wife and daughters for a quiet evening at a local park. It was a nice family outing, until he noticed something watching them from the shadows. Not sure who or what it could be, he pulled out his phone to record while he told the ladies to get ready to leave. Take a look at what he captured that night.
No te vas a golpear en la resbaladilla cuando te bajes.
¿Me bajo?
Sí.
Ah.
Mira. Espérate. Dana, ven. Vengan para acá. Mira, a ver, miren el árbol aquel. No, la neta, te lo juro que yo miraba algo. Como que se asomaba. A ver, vengan.
Ya me dio miedo.
No, es que yo miré algo, neta. No pasa nada. No, mi amor, no pasa nada, ven. No era nada, ven. ¿Qué?
¿Qué es?
No sé, no. Irga, sí se miró. ¡Hey! ¿Quién está ahí? Yo sí miré, alcancé a ver algo. Mira, ¿te checaste? ¿Viste? A ver. Oh, mira.
¿Qué es eso? Ay, no.
¡Hey! ¡Lujo! ¡Asómate!
Moses catches a pale, human face peeking from behind a tree before it darts back. It seems scared of the light, but wouldn't leave, like it was waiting for them to clear off. Some reckon it's a ghost child locals keep seeing here after dark, while others say it's just a shadow playing tricks. Moses wasn't buying it either, so a few days later, he returns with his wife to watch from a safe distance. But what he caught this time means he'll never set foot in that park again.
Ay, pues se prendió. Pero miren, chequen nomás. Estamos solos, no hay nadie aquí en la presa. Aquí vinimos de nuevo para checar otra vez lo del mentado árbol que habíamos, de susodicho árbol, no, pero pues la neta, esta vez la verdad no quisimos bajar, ni quisimos, miren, aquí estamos yo y mi esposa, y pues la neta esta vez no quisimos bajar, por precaución, porque no sabemos qué es lo que puede haber ahí. Entonces mejor nos quedamos aquí, pero ahí se mira donde está solo, miren, ahí están los juegos, donde está nada prácticamente. Ay, no mames. Mira. No me jodas. Ay, no más, chequen ustedes, miren. No, vámonos mejor. Vámonos. No, esto no está bien. Vámonos. Aquí definitivamente sí hay algo. Ay, no más, chequen, juzguen ustedes. Y mira, y nomás ese aparato es el que está. Nomás ese aparato es el que se está moviendo. No, sí está cañón. Vámonos mejor. No, vámonos ya. Bueno, nos vemos. Aquí ya mejor ya. Hay que dejarlos a gusto a los a los fantasmitas que estén haciendo ejercicio. Bueno, vámonos mejor. No está, vámonos. Bye.
This time, whatever it was is right out of the shadows. The heavy swing starts moving with proper force, way too heavy for the wind to move them. According to Moses, right then he decides he's seen enough and absolutely legs it before he brings something nasty home with him. But what do you reckon? Did he stumble on a real ghost? Or did he just overreact both times? Let us know.
¿Qué es eso? Ay, no.
Number 4. Curiosity chilled the cat. TikToker Galga_Peach is lying in bed one night when she spots her cat staring out of the window. Standard cat behaviour, right? She even thought it was a bit cute, like it was standing guard. But then she realises something is off. She grabs her phone to catch whatever caught its eye, and bloody hell, this one will freak you right out.
I see the eyes. Oh my god.
Now, you're probably thinking, big deal, just some glowing eyes in the dark. But what I haven't told you yet is that she wasn't downstairs, she was upstairs. So unless just some random bloke stood on a massive ladder just to peer into her bedroom, how freaking tall is whatever is lurking out there? Plus, look at the cat. It's not doing the playful tail flickering thing, it's proper tense, like it can sense something that put it on absolutely high alert. But what do you reckon was staring back at her that night?
I see the eyes. Oh my god.
Number 3. Gulp Fiction. The video you're about to watch was posted on the True Cryptozoology subreddit by a user known as Whole Negotiation 1843, and it's been causing a bit of an argument online ever since. Apparently, it was filmed by a fisherman somewhere in Thailand, and whatever ends up on camera isn't something you expect to see on a normal day out on the water. Have a look.
หน้าอะไรอ่ะเฮ้ยดูนี่นะโอ้โหอาปากด้วยเอ๊ะน่าจะเป็นสัตว์ประหลาดเลยเฮ้ยโอ้โหตัวใหญ่ด้วยดูนี่เนี่ยเฮ้ยมันมาทางเรือเรานี่หว่าเอ๊ะมันผ่านมาทางเรือแล้วเนี่ยโอ้โหเฮ้ยมีเขี้ยวด้วยว่ะโอ้กับพริกตาได้ด้วยโอ้โหอะไรเว้ยตัวอะไรวะเนี่ยเฮ้ยดูแล้ว
The first thing people noticed was the shape of it. It doesn't quite look like any animal you can easily point to. The body seems long and swollen, almost like it's bloated, and what looks like ridges or even exposed ribs running along its side. And then there's the head. Some viewers reckon it looks almost like a hog, but attached to something with the movement and posture of a crocodile, which is already a slightly concerning combination. As it moves through the water, you can almost make out what appears to be a wide mouth lined with thin, needle-like teeth. Not exactly something you'd want getting any closer to the boat. Now, depending on who you ask, there's a few explanations being thrown around. Some people believe it could be a real animal, just heavily decomposed or distorted in the water, giving that unnatural appearance. And then of course, there are those who are convinced that might be something we simply haven't properly identified yet, which is where things start to get a bit more interesting. A few viewers even compared it to the Gulper from Fallout, which probably isn't the most comforting reference, but what do you think? Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments. Number 2. The Late Nate. Nate lives alone with his dog, usually just chilling in the front room on his days off, until one afternoon when he hears heavy footsteps running straight down his stairs. Proper spooked, he grabbed his phone, waiting to see if whatever it was runs back up. But instead of catching something logical, he accidentally records the very start of what would later become his worst nightmare. Take a look.
Guys, something was just walking down the stairs. I'm just sitting here having my coffee, watching a couple of fights from last night that I missed. The dog is down here with me, of course. And I heard walking down the first set of stairs down to this landing. Nobody there. It sounded like it walked down this set to this landing, and then stopped at that landing. But when I looked up, of course there was nothing there. Christ. Please tell me you guys heard that. It sounded like running up the stairs, running down the stairs. I don't know what it was, but it was one of them. What do you want? Guys, I'm telling you, until you experience something for yourself, there's no way to put into words that feeling inside you, in your gut, like in your deep in your gut.
Did you catch it? People in the comments section noticed some disturbing details that even Nate didn't take note of. Watch it again slowly, just as the video begins.
Nobody there. Nobody there.
While he was busy trying to get the entity to move again, some keen-eared followers pointed out a faint voice saying, "Hey," almost as though it wanted to introduce itself to him. Also, just as he pans the camera away from the stairs, you can hear the footsteps running up. Then, a voice was heard saying, "You," when he asked, "What do you want?"
What do you want?
But that wasn't even the scariest part. At this point, you might assume that he packed his things and moved out of the house. However, because Nate didn't pick these subtle, sinister cues, he stayed put. But what he captured the next day was too in your face to miss. Take a look.
Okay. I was upstairs getting dressed. And heard what sounded like a child running. Or it sounded like a kid playing. Like running and laughing. And she's right there. What do you hear? What is it? Hey. Mama. Where is it? She's looking at that couch. Okay. Well, I didn't hear anything. Oh, what the fuck?
According to Nate, the reason he picked up his phone to record was that he heard what sounded like a child running and laughing around the house. But while he was explaining what had happened, a ball mysteriously rolled out from the dark like a scene from a horror movie. Only this time, it's all too real for Nate to ignore. How could the ball have rolled across the room with no one else in the house but him and the dog? Obviously, the dog wasn't even sitting where the ball came from, nor was it possible for him to throw it off camera.
I'm up here at the cemetery. I had quite a few people suggest laying something out before I leave and seeing if the prints show up. So last night before I left some drying, absorbing compound down. So I wanted to start filming as soon as I arrive and see if there's anything on the drying compound that I left. Good morning. What the f is that? Oh, that's a bone. Okay, there's some shit in there. There's some shit in there. What the fuck? Holy shit, it worked. What the fuck is... Oh no. I don't know if that's like... Let me see. So there's my hand in comparison. That's like three... Looks like three... I don't know what those are. Holy shit. And a fucking bone. Like, what is the bone? I kinda don't want to touch it. Fucking voodoo.
He reported stopping posting videos about the place after this one, and presumably moved to another house. After all, wouldn't we all? Number 1. Nobel Prize. This video comes from a paranormal investigation carried out by the duo Phil and Jeff, which they posted on their YouTube channel, Ghost Tech Paranormal Investigations. But before we get into the terrifying footage, you need to understand the place this was filmed in. Inglefield Hall isn't just some random old building. It's been around since 1880, and over the years, it's been just about everything. It started off as a temperance coffee tavern, basically a place designed to keep workers away from alcohol while they were building nearby facilities. No drinking, no smoking, just tea, coffee, and good behaviour. Which, depending on who you ask, already sounds a bit haunting. Later on, it became a full hotel. Then, during the wars, it was used as a shelter, even functioning as a school for children who had to be relocated. And that's where things start to get a bit more unsettling. Because over the years, people working and visiting the building have reported the same kinds of things again and again. Footsteps when no one's around, voices in empty rooms, shadowy figures moving through the halls. Multiple people have claimed there's something in one of the upstairs rooms, supposedly hiding in a cupboard. There are even reports of an old woman being seen wandering the upper floors, and oddly enough, what sounds like a cat darting through the building. No one's ever seen the cat, they just hear it, which somehow makes it worse. Now, all of that might sound like your typical old building creepy story situation, until you hear it from someone who actually runs the place. Take a look at this.
There are many claims of paranormal activity here.
Yes.
Footsteps, voices, shadow figures.
Yeah.
and a spirit cat,
Yes.
apparently.
Yeah.
So what have you heard?
So I myself have never actually seen it or felt anything. A lot of volunteers or workers have told me that they've felt something or they've seen something. Majority up in the wardrobe department.
Okay, that's the top floor.
That's the top floor, the attic.
Yeah.
I've been told by numerous volunteers and members of staff that they often hear like an old lady talk, like making noises or talking to them up there. A couple of them have said that they've heard things when we've done move-arounds, and I don't know. People have said to me that feels like it's being disturbed.
Okay.
Up in room 3, which is one of our meeting rooms up there, there's a small cupboard in the corner, and I've been told by numerous people that they've heard noises coming from that cupboard.
So, with all that in mind, paranormal investigators Jeff and Phil decided to spend the night inside Inglefield Hall to see if any of these claims could actually be backed up. And at first, not much happened. The usual setup, a few noises here and there, nothing you couldn't explain away. But then, while asking questions in one of the rooms, they captured something. Have a listen.
Can you make another noise for us, please? An EVP of a child's voice is received saying, "Mummy." Here is the audio enhanced.
If you listen closely, you can hear what sounds like a child's voice saying, "Mummy." Now remember, this building was once used to house children during the war, so if that really is a voice, it lines up a little too well with the unsettling history of the place. Still, an audio clip on its own isn't exactly proof of anything. It could have been interference, background noise, your brain filling in the gaps. But then things start getting harder to explain. At one point during the investigation, a door in one of the upstairs rooms suddenly opens and closes by itself. Now, normally you chalk that up to a draft. Except in this case, every window in the building was shut, no airflow, no vents, nothing. And more importantly, bells were hanging right near the doorway, specifically set up to detect movement. If there was any sort of breeze strong enough to move that door, those bells should have been swinging, but they weren't. They stayed completely still. Take a look.
We're here for no other reason to find out more about the history of this place. And I think that's something you can probably help us with. There's definite knocking. Please come into this room. Now, it's quite windy tonight, so if you'd like to make yourself known to me, I can hear you knocking.
Where's that coming from, Phil?
I don't know, it's around.
I thought it was behind me. Whilst Phil and I are on the ground floor, the door to room 3 opens and closes by itself. Inside room 3, our static cam is pointing in the direction of the small cupboard where a young child is believed to hide, and the door is out of frame, but we can rule out any natural causes for what has taken place. The building's windows are all closed and are completely double glazed. The curtains in this room are pulled across so there is no wind or air moving within the room. Also, if it was an air draft, these bells on the string in the middle of the room would move or start to swing, but as you can see, they are completely still.
So now you've got a voice and a door moving on its own in a sealed room. At this point, things are starting to build, but interestingly, the night itself remains fairly quiet overall. Just occasional moments that don't quite add up. But then, right towards the end of the investigation, they captured this. Down the far corridor, a full shadow figure can be seen moving across the hallway. And what makes this one stand out is the fact that it was caught on a static camera with absolutely no one nearby at the time it was caught. With all they've caught so far, one might begin to think that there might be some truth to the stories about the Inglefield Hall. Did Jeff and Phil really manage to capture something that's been there for a very long time? Or what if it's left that hole now? What if it followed you right through the screen, and it's just waiting for your lights to go off tonight? Sleep tight, mate.
Abusive home situation. The figure seems to be weirdly tall, but could that be because of shadows and lighting? It's faint, but you can see the silhouette slowly moving around the front of the house. The guy soon realized if even paramedics are getting freaked out by the room, God knows what is in there. The room's aura only